Hi everyone, it's Ethan McKinley and welcome to the 2 Minute Terminator. It is episode... Ellie?
Oh shit, 36. Oh my god, you haven't done that to me in ages.
I know, thought I'd spring it on you. Yes, that was Ellie Fitzgerald, my charming female co-host. And we are in fact on episode 6th. And I would like to apologise if my voice is in any way disrupted in this show. As it was on the last show, I'm apologising in both counts. I won't know until I've actually heard the playback, but on yesterday's episode I sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger interrogating Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies. What do you work for? I have no idea why this is. I think it's something to do with the Zencastr link we're using, so we're going back to old Skype and a mixer as of next week, so a lot will be good. And we're going from minutes 72 to 74, the 2 minutes bridging that gap. And Ellie, how are you?
I'm very stressed out right now. But I want to get to the bottom of this Zencastr thing, so...
We don't need to. We're going back to Skype.
What? It was great when it was free, and then they said, "Oh, you need to pay for it," and then the quality just dropped. What's happened to Zencastr?
I think it's to force you to start paying for it.
Yeah.
And then you go, "Oh, it's rubbish. I'm going to pay for it." But I think it's put so little confidence in it for me, as it wasn't amazing in the first place. Because the other person's internet signal is weak. It all gets out of sync, and you spend hours editing to soundtracks. We do too effort on this show. I apologise, Ellie.
Yes. Anyway, so let's screw the.
Oh, forget it, you stuttering fuck! Hit the music.
Yeah, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the fourth. Thank God. It sucked.
And we're back, yes. It is episode 36, and we are going from minutes 72 to 74, the 2 minutes bridging that gap. The bookends for the show are the human subjects went insane, spoken by Pops, Arnold's recurring role as the Terminator in his final appearance as the character, I think. And it ends with Jason Clarke's John Connor going boom in response to Danny Dyson's boom.
Boom!
Anyway, on with the show. The crux of this basically is Arnold explaining that the human subjects went insane when Skynet was trying to experiment with this kind of like machine-human interface, the early subjects at least. And it ends with a tantalizing glimpse into the time displacement, or the tactical time weapon as it's called, at the end of this scene, which is the thing John Connor and Carl Reese and the Terminator, I guess all of them, in all the films up to this point, have come through.
Yep.
Based off, of course, as I've said in previous episodes, that it was a James Cameron design, which came... it was in the second film, but it was cut out due to time and budgetary reasons. But that the spinning discs and stuff, and that like the curly ceiling, as it were, made it all those kind of like those hollow blocks. That was all in the original script for Terminator 2. However, when that was scrapped, the design was used for what film, Ellie?
Genesis.
And before that, Ellie, which one was it? You know this. It's Contact. It's the time machine out of Contact.
Oh, Contact. Oh, I do apologise. I thought we were sticking solely on Terminator.
Well, no, the spinning rings with the kind of the light in the middle of it. When it drops the pod through Jodie Foster's pod, and she goes through kind of like time and space and through a wormhole and speaks to the imaginary face of her dead
James
father.
Cameron, wasn't it?
One of the biggest, I guess, arguable movie letdown endings to a film ever.
Yeah.
Where the alien turns out to be a goddamn father, which is a line from South Park, one of the only ones I know. In the actual film, someone would have actually jumped into the center of those spinning rings and obviously gone through time. In this new incarnation of the film, Terminator Genesis, people get in it, the rings begin to spin like a spinning coin, and they go through time after being raised together off the ground. The real question is, teleportation-wise, if they go through together, as John and Sarah did, to come out at 2017, wouldn't they just be some gelatinous mess, like in The Fly when the baboon goes through?
Well, that's what I thought, but you know, this timeline is it has its own kind of makeup and elements and compounds and whatever, and they've arrived in 2000 and whatever. I don't even know what year it is because they just change it, and I don't.
Well, this is 2017.
Oh, so this is okay. So this is 2017.
Prior to that, they were in 1984.
There was like a 97 at some point, I swear. Was there
I think
not a
as far as
97?
Terminator 3 goes, or Terminator 2, I think it's August 12th, 1980. I should know this. We watch Terminator films. We do a minute show on Terminator, and we don't know the day of Judgment Day. I'm going to Google it right now.
Yeah, but my God, we've done so much. Anyway, so my first kind of points on these particular 2 minutes were, I love the opening of my 2-minute clip because it's just Arnold saying they went insane and died. I was like, that's amazing. Love that opening. So the thing that kind of got me about this particular 2 minutes is I feel that maybe James Cameron should have spoken to Emilia Clarke about maybe having a little bit more of a grieving mother kind of vibe, because she's just seen her son for the first time.
Who turned out to be the one
Who
thing.
turned out to be the one thing
she's
she's
never
trying
wanted him to be.
Yeah. And now she's just like, oh, hi, John. Oh, shit, he's a Terminator. Okay, cool. Right, so what are his weaknesses? It's like, if that was me, and I've been raised, okay, so let's say this is in the Genesis timeline right now. So I'm 8 years old, however old she was. I'm with my dad, like I've, you know, gone fishing. Really, I'm actually having a secret affair with my dad. My mum doesn't know. Swimming around in the lake. Yep. That all bows up. Terminator comes. Blah 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 blah.
Wow, it's like the movie is playing in high definition before my eyes. The way you describe it, it's beat for beat. The way the boathouse went up. Yeah. In your incest script amendment. Yeah, very nice.
It was exactly like that. If I'd had all of this kind of gumption, all of this kind of build up to this moment, and you think, right, you are gonna bear the child that is gonna lead the people to save humanity, you're gonna think, oh my God, you know, this baby. And being a woman, as much as those badass chicks out there, and I'd like to say I'm a little bit of a badass chick, even with those kind of girls, we do deep down, even though we don't like to be girly girls, we do.
You want to be told to shut up, be told what to do, and be protected.
Yeah, we do still have maternal feeling. You know, it's biology. But with, I feel that Emilia Clarke, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's her delivery, or maybe they just didn't want to stress much on that fact. But I would have thought that a bit more concern from Sarah would be, I don't know. I think that if you thought that your son had actually turned into a Terminator, you would be a bit more upset, concerned.
But she's got no investment, is it? Because it's an alternate timeline. She hasn't technically had John yet. This is the thing before. I mean, what does she recognise in him when she sees him? Because she's not even given birth. I mean, she's only just met Kyle, and they don't like each other because they're being forced to do something they don't want to do. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if you're right or it's just a fault of the film. But what investment would she have in him in the first place anyway? She's aware she has a son that she's got to call John. And Kyle, this version's timeline, Sarah, when she knows she's got to meet Kyle and this has to happen. The other timeline, Sarah, doesn't know who Kyle is, whether he has a plan for himself or not.
Yeah.
It's the roles are reversed, aren't they? Because Kyle, I think Michael Biehn's version in the other films comes back obsessively in love with this messianic figure. So I guess it's in his MO to kind of like at least make a move on her. Frog in your throat. But this one, it's reverse, isn't it? But it's begrudging. Sarah has been told she has to mate with this guy, as Arnold Pops puts it. Have you mated yet? And they have to have this child. But at this point, they've not had the child, and they've met the father. Carl's recognised him. I don't know. That's why I think she's detached and kind of shouting at Kyle. Because she's got no kind of investment in the situation, emotionally or physically even as well.
And I can understand that, but I just think that she would, I don't know. I think the way she is, it's more like she's a robot.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like she's the T-1000 and Jai Courtney is Sarah Connor. we just need to mix these roles up a bit.
Well, Kyle's kind of fighting for him because he's going like, because I guess the assimilation is on a cellular level. He's like, it's incurable. It can't. He's
the only one.
What was the word?
Yeah, he's like fucking John's cheerleader. He's the one that's like, no, he can be saved, and Arnie's just like, no.
Well, John's literally, even though he's John's father, John is his father figure, isn't it? Because he saved him in this film, at least, from that Arnold Vosloo-looking bald Terminator that he shot in the sewers at the start of his movie.
It's really funny actually, because when in the opening bit where Sarah says, "Oh yeah, well he's got the insane part down," and you see Jai just look at her, it's just like, "Hey, that's my man you're talking about right there." That is that look. I'm sorry, but that is that look.
Yeah.
They've shed a kiss.
What was I going to say?
They've shed a kiss, or they've like crossed streams in the toilets or something. There's some weird like there's some bromance going on between good old Carl and John, which is kind of great.
Why is the association with bromance always has to be gay, Ellie?
It's just, I don't know, man. It's Top Gun. Top Gun just ruined bromance for me.
30 years ago. August the 29th, 1997 is the original Judgment Day date, as depicted in Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Sarah Connor named the date as 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, as the day Skynet became self-aware. In 2003, the timeline featured in Rise of the Machines, Terminator Judgment Day was listed as happening in 2003, or their Judgment Day. So it was moved forward like 6 years in the third one.
Well, that's helpful. Okay, so moving swiftly on from the seriously skewed timeline of Terminator Genesis, the next thing I wanted to know is, how would Arnold Schwarzenegger know, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, how would this T-850, whatever he is, how would he know what this new kind of hybrid of Terminator's weakness would be?
What would Arnold know?
Well, because she's saying, what would his weakness be? How can we attack him? And he's saying, oh, he's like this.
Again, he's hypothesized based off the scene he just had in the MRI room, which is completely factually and scientifically incorrect, of how to defeat him. So magnets really is the way. Which is strange because, I don't know, it should be a situation like Terminator 2, even when I was watching that, when I said, I think a couple of episodes back, even like almost to the end in the Foundry, I was like, how? When he kind of melted his way back into form after being frozen in liquid nitrogen, I was like, how are they going to end this film? They literally can't do anything to stop this thing. It was quite terrifying. I think they could have played out the narrative and the tension a bit in this, I think, first. Maybe had the MRI scene later on as a clue, perhaps. Because later on in the film, spoilers, he kind of has those kind of electromagnetic, kind of like magnetic knuckle dusters with a car battery or whatever attached to them, and he's kind of like when he's fighting him at the end. I don't know. I just think it would have added more dramatic tension if they made him more unstoppable up to a certain point. They should have had more perhaps a bit of chase.
I completely agree. Like in Terminator 2.
Because they've immediately exposed him as the Terminator. I don't know. I think they could have played it a little better, where John was on the quest, kind of with them.
They kind of have, but they kind of haven't, because then we go to further into the 2 minutes, we then go to Cyberdyne, and then my next point was, so are we assuming that actually John Connor, aka New Skynet's like soup-to-do like hybrid Terminator, has actually gone back a couple of years previous to that? He's integrated himself into Cyberdyne, got a job to help them create all of this gumph. Love that word. To ensure that Skynet happens, that Genesis happens, and that this all...
But how has that happened in the matter of 2 days? He's like sequestered himself within a company, rose to the top, he's working with the Dyson father and sons.
did he, when he went back in time, maybe he's been there for a couple of years. Maybe he like did a kind of
He's been there for longer. He went back way before then to establish himself.
What Arnie. It's
That's not alluded to though, is it?
Maybe. I'm just Jesus. Why am I trying to find ways out?
No, because I thought it was funny when I first saw it. I was like, but I didn't question it. It just washed over me. But now we're going through this like minute by 2 minutes. I kind of see now. He's literally just arrived 10 minutes ago. He's broke them out of prison or like the hospital. He's been revealed as a Terminator. They know how to defeat him, and now he's been working at Cyberdyne for years. I don't know.
We trusted you with this project, and
why don't you want to be public on this or
you've been
no?
working on this for
Press
so
conference
long.
says. What's the next thing we're going to work on, John? And they like it, the camera like opens up the scene into the tactical time weapon.
We owe you. Cyber owns you. I owe you. It's just like, oh god. You should just watch that happen.
When do we need it ready by? Whenever. We've got all the time in the world. Yeah, I don't know. It's a massive plot hole again. If anyone wants to write in or email or put a message on the Facebook page as to... is this just us missing the mark again, or is it just bad filmmaking?
Yeah, so my question is was he like kind of like a mole to like he was like planted into Cyberdyne to ensure that everything went smoothly, or to maybe accelerate the rate at which they could, bring Skynet to fruition or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it was to accelerate World War. Fuck knows. Sorry.
Which World War is that?
Oh my god. My eyes are literally just like, looking at the screen.
Well, I've got some trivia for you. Christian Bale was, in commas, unavailable to reprise his role as John Connor from Terminator Salvation. Well, I think the intonation there is he was like, I'm never doing John Connor again. Bearing in mind...
absolutely fucking nuts and skits on the set.
Well, there's that as well. The film didn't perform as well as it should have at the box office. I don't think it was an enjoyable experience for him. I don't think anyone working with him had... Yeah, and bearing in mind, he technically wasn't really meant to be in that film because he was meant to be a tertiary or secondary character to Sam Worthington's Marcus Wright, who was going to be the John Connor of that film. Literally, when Christian Bale dies at the end as John Connor, he was going to assume his mantle or his identity and then lead the war against the machines, of course, having the inside track because he was half machine and half man. Slightly in a different form, the way Jason Clarke's John Connor is in this. He was going to be like the machine-man hybrid. But that obviously didn't pan out. But, yeah, I mean, I can only assume it was not a fun experience had by all. And it underperformed at the box office, so they never got the second part of the trilogy, so why would he come back as John Connor in this? It'll be a step back for his career, I think. Even doing... Terminator Salvation seems strange because I understand like doing big franchise films if you're a respected actor and stuff, one to bring home the bacon and to become obviously more famous and known, but I think the only thing franchise one could really join midway through was something like the Marvel movies, or if you played Batman for instance.
Why get involved?
But like a patchy, I don't know, it always seemed like it just seemed like a strange choice for someone of his caliber and level of talent and like and fame to go into a franchise of patchy films already. Like it wasn't like a great track record for that series. It already like I guess a critical and well not a commercial flop as such, but a critical flop with Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. It just seemed like a strange move for someone of his.
I would never have picked Christian Bale for any kind of like robot movie. Anyway.
And I don't know, there's all those weird stories of him like sort of like taking over the project, like I said, and he was meant to be, John Connor was the second character and he wanted to play John Connor, even though he came in to read for Marcus Wright, which was the Sam Worthington thing, so they retooled the script to based around John Connor, and Sam Worthington was kind of like the secondary character then, even though it's quite obvious when you watch the film, the most interesting storyline is actually his Pinocchio-esque return to humanity. So yeah, I don't know, it's... I guess that's why he's unavailable in commas to reprise his role for this next film as John Connor.
We miss you not, Christian Bale.
Said that twice, same time, sorry. I was going to say, later on in this scene, as they're walking into the Weirdly as well, the room they're building the time machine in is the same room
Yeah.
that they're building the T-1000s in. Now, surely, like in NASA and stuff, you have
Very
each project to be
elaborate.
kept in its own individual place and in a clean room where
Yep.
no one's allowed in, and you have to wear all those like wacky suits because there can't be any bacteria when they're building this stuff. If you're building something as important as time travel, it just seems odd. You'd be producing your latest robot prototype in a freaking lake
Exactly.
around the bloody machine you're building. I don't know. And also, in your wildest imagination, how did you imagine they built or made the T-1000 in Terminator? Because I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like a laser beam, isn't it? Drawing and scanning out that liquid mercury, and each one, every
Yeah.
time it pulls, it takes more of a human shape. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
almost like 3D
printing.
printing or infecting the metal with information and stuff. Yeah. It just looks a bit odd to me. It's just like I'm not sure I would have picked that as the way to make the Terminators, but then again,
Yeah,
I
no,
can't come up
wouldn't
with a
have.
better idea.
I probably
So
would
what
have
the
had
frick do I
some
know?
kind of. I would have liked it old school, like some dirty old, like assembly kind of warehouse. Yeah.
Like pouring
like
into a
old
mold
school.
like a sword in the shape of a
I
man.
don't know. Just machine-like and factory efficiency and.
Well, it's trying to it's just obviously trying to plasticize and like mold the metal in a kind of like amorphous and shape, I guess. I mean, they do that with certain plastics and like what is it, polys and resins and stuff, where you give things a kind of memory so they remember them. So if you bend it this way or that way, it goes back to its original shape. I suppose the T-1000 is the ultimate expression of that. But yeah. Sorry, everyone. I can't think of a better way to build a T-1000. I just questioned theirs.
Love it. So
I mean, I don't know. What would it be? Like a giant jelly mold with a pair of tits, and they just pour it in that? That would be like a funny way of doing it. And they just throw in like porn magazines into like the soup.
yeah, but then that's
of
how
it.
we ended up with bloody the Terminator, the third film. That's a.
I think that might be the funniest way of doing it. A giant jelly mold of a pair of titties. And it's full of the liquid metal, and they just throw in like dictionaries in
That's amazing.
and travel books to try and give it some information.
Basically,
two pissed
what
off.
you're basically.
God, what is it like? Science or workers in the science building, and it's like a night shift, so the actual the official people aren't there. They're just meant to keep the lights on and run the programs and things they've been told to do, essentially, while the kind of main staff are sleeping, and they just get bored and just start throwing like porn magazines and like books in it, and it comes out like this like quirky,
Almost sounds like
not
a
killing machine Terminator.
scarier, weird science.
Exactly, yeah, exactly like Weird Science, but they're like literally throwing it in a
Can you
giant
imagine
cauldron of
an
like liquid
army
metal.
Of Kelly LeBrock Terminators. I would die for that movie.
I'd watch that movie. That'd be the greatest film of all time.
Way.
Girl So Nice, they made it
Got a
twice.
rhyme in that one.
Hey!
Yeah, so we see. Well, can we call him John? Is he even John anymore? We see him running around with our black friends. I just had to say it. Our black friends. So this is.
Our black friends.
Who are these people, Ethan?
I'm assuming the older guy, Courtney B. Vance, who played. Oh god, he was in the O.J. Simpson drama. I've forgotten his name. I'm sorry. Johnny Cochran. if the glove don't fit, you must quit. Yeah, Courtney B. Vance. I'm assuming because Danny Dyson is the child that we saw in Terminator 2, played then by Devon Dixon, who's the right age for playing Danny Dyson now. Although, as we said before, I guess his agent doesn't have the juice to get in the
that'd have been
scene, even
awesome.
though I think it would have tied it better to the other films.
But
I'm
he
assuming
died.
the other older black guy is Miles Dyson, no? That's a good point. We should watch this film with more
So
closeness
who is that
and,
old geezer?
a sharper eye. I don't know.
Who is
Hang
this
on.
old geese?
Let me just
Yeah,
Google it
so
now.
we've obviously got one of the boys here, but
Well, Danny's... Yeah, he
Yeah.
is Danny Dyson. We had
Yeah, I was
like
just
a
wondering who
whole
that-
episode devoted to him. Courtney B. No. Oh, sorry. Of course, we're in the alternate timeline. It is Miles Dyson. Courtney B. Vance plays
so he is
Miles
alive.
Dyson.
So in this timeline, they never
Yes.
destroyed the.
In this timeline, they killed. No, they didn't. They killed the first Terminator from Terminator 1 before he got to complete his mission. Because Pops fought him,
Yeah.
and then Sarah Connor shot him in the heart with that giant RoboCop gun. So that didn't happen. The machines did not send back a T-1000, as far as I know, unless they've already dispatched him as well, before the first Terminator arrived. So no, the events of Terminator 1 and 2 have not happened in this timeline. They've already got the drop on the first Terminator arriving and stopped him. That then stops, I guess, Terminator 2 from happening. So that hasn't happened. So of course Miles Dyson wouldn't ever meet John Connor,
Oh God, this
Edward
is
Furlong's
just
John
such
Connor,
a mess.
and Guardian. Well, it's the alternate timeline, isn't it? We have to bear that in mind. So yes, I was right the first time. It is Miles Dyson, obviously, and
but
Danny Dyson is
I know
played
there's
by
alternate
Deo
timelines, but we're
Okonie.
not. We only see the alternate timeline when he goes into his weird dream place. This isn't dream place. This is real.
Maybe there's a third timeline then, but I'm pretty sure this is the alternate timeline because it's got they've obviously thwarted the attempts to for the first Terminator, as we saw in Terminator 1, the classic horror film Terminator, and then of course James Cameron's very expensive sequel Terminator 2 in 1991. So those events have not happened because they dispatched that
Bloody
first
hell.
Terminator at the start of this.
I feel like you need to take like.
So I think
an
maybe that's the
exam or,
fork or the
go through,
skew
like,
in the timeline.
like a fucking some form of like itinerary before you watch this movie. It's like, right, you need to understand this to get this, and to do that you need to go.
No, I just think it's especially with time travel films, it's very difficult to kind of like tie all the threads
I was going
together.
to say, if you're
And
gonna
also
do
you have to bear in
something
mind
to do
more
with
than one
time
writer
travel,
comes on the
just
project.
Have one writer. Just stick to one.
Yeah, I mean, so there's rewrites galore and people coming on and jumping off, and then someone changes this. Of course, there'll be cracks in that because it won't be a cohesive whole with
Very
it.
strange. So
I mean, really, you should have like a couple of writers, and then you have someone overseeing that, as I guess like you would in the Marvel films. Because this was claimed to be like a world-building first of a franchise, wasn't it? That's not obviously going to happen now because I think it was 155 million budget, and domestically in America only did 89 million, which I think is the thing they measure success by, even though you've got like China in the Asian market and the world market. So who knows?
very strange.
Ellie, have you got anything else to add?
No. Just that he's a snide little bastard. And yeah. I still think he looks like someone's bloody geography teacher.
Who are we talking about at this point? Oh, Jason
Jason
Clarke. Well, he's not a geography teacher. He's the inventor of time travel. Apparently, he's done all that in the space of 2 days.
One thing I would like to say, I do like the fact that at the very end of this 2 minutes, he goes, "But when we do, boom." In other words, I've been trying to work on this.
To blow up the world, and the black guy's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
man, boom!" And he goes, "Boom!" And I'm like, "You don't understand what he means."
Exactly.
You've gone for the black.
As
You've
he's
gone for the
going
black
through.
boom,
Yeah.
and he's gone for the white boom, which is blow up the world.
Yeah.
And you've gone, "Hey, cool!" Like a
Exactly.
jive talky thing. Company's going to explode. But yes, if you are enjoying the show, thank you. If you stuck with the show, if you're one of the 20 listeners we have left at this point, thank you for sticking with us. We're only getting out 3 a week, sadly, due to ridiculous work commitments. I'm doing, I think, a 17-hour day on Monday, and Ellie's doing the same and then some, plus tomorrow and plus Sunday. All this for a 9 to 5 job. Look at all the extra work they're making you do, Ellie. It's ruining my show.
I know, I'm so sorry.
But if you want to actually watch the clip in question as we talk about it, you can find us at the 2 Minute Terminator on YouTube. You can go to, of course, the Facebook page. Please like and follow us there, because we have the greatest collection of stills and clips than any other fan site on the internet. Hashtag.
In the words of LL Cool J, it's the greatest of all time.
It is pretty much. And if you want to do the show a massive favour, apart from donate some money through the Patreon account, you can of course do a solid for us, a freebie. Open the your iTunes account and leave us a star and written review, just a line or two saying we're badass or we stink, whatever. It just helps the show grow, basically. So we'll be back on Monday with another 3, hopefully, I guess, shows. So they won't be sequential though, because obviously busy on Monday, etc. There will be a Monday show, which we're going to record over the weekend. We're going to try and get some out for you before then as well. But yes, thank you. We shall return to normal speed very soon, I hope. And,
Hasta la vista,
Baby.
bye. Thanks.
Watch out for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines.